Avs fans, here we go. Welcome to Mile High Sports. We are talking about the Avs and the Stars, Game 6. I'm Shawn Drotar. That man on my left is Brennan Vogt of HockeyMountainHigh.com. Make sure you check them out for all the latest. Really proud to have Hockey Mountain High as part of our Mile High Sports family. And check out the podcast as well, Brennan. Let's start this way. How you feeling?
About tonight or in general?
Just tonight. Worry about game 7 when game 7 comes. It's just tonight.
If they can clean up their game, I'm happier about the fact that they have the first change. So Bednar plays with the first change a lot better than he does the second. So it makes me feel a little bit better about that.
When you look at the way this game and the series, this game obviously is, it's going to be in Denver. That helps quite a bit. And there's the ability to feed off the crowd. But there's this idea that, of course, they'll feed off the crowd and play very well. You couldn't have a bigger crowd impact than when Gabe Landeskog came back for game 3, and the Avs lost that game. So I don't know how much the crowd factors into it. If you look historically in the NHL, out of what we call the 4 major sports, the home ice, home field, home court, whatever you want to call it, the home advantage in the NHL is the smallest of those 4 for a lot of reasons. Obviously, football, the crowds are massive and loud, and the noise can change what an offense does. The baseball, of course, the stadiums are literally different. So, you want to know your curves, your angles in the outfield, all that sort of stuff. Basketball, you can have people standing in front of, right in front of you on the court side, heckling you. But hockey, there's kind of a wall. It's kind of separated to an extent. And that impact seems to be less than any other ones. But for the Avalanche, this is win or go home time. And in this series, I talked about it a little earlier today on Mile High Sports Today with Nate Lundy. My concern is this is a team that did not have Miro Heiskanen as best defender, and they won't tonight either, by the way.
Yeah.
They didn't have Jason Robinson, their leading goal scorer. None of their best defensemen, don't have their leading goal scorer, and here they are still beating a healthy Avalanche team 3-2. And that leads me really to one inevitable conclusion. The Stars have outworked the Avs in this series, and even when the Avs have been up, the Stars have continued to grind and outwork them, and now they have confidence that even if they're down at the third period, they can knock Colorado off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just the fact that they're getting on the puck carrier a lot quicker than I think the Avs think they are. It's a fast game. Everybody knows that, but it's a matter of split-second decisions. And if you get that puck, you got to have your head up, and you've got to make that decision either to carry it or pass it off right away. And the Avs are catching it in their feet. They're making sloppy passes, and they're not making those. They're not able to make those decisions right away.
A lot of giveaways for the Avalanche in this series, and not only in the defensive zone, which of course is disastrous, but it's sort of a shocking amount of giveaways in the offensive zone. And Jared Bednar referred to this, of course, after their really great Game 4 win. The best, like I said before, I think it's the best game they've played all season long. They have simplified, they stripped down, and they played a much better game. But when you look at the way that this team has played, and you look at the way that they can play, they can beat the Stars playing the Stars game. But they have to focus. They have to be clean. They can't make those kind of turnovers. We look at the last loss, and you had the fluky goal with the 9 seconds in. You had the other fluky goal that Mackenzie Blackwood stops the shot. It goes straight up, bounces off his back, and goes in. Those things happen. And the Avs did fight their way back from that. But you look at the Mikko Rantanen goal. That was started from a giveaway in the offensive zone as the Avs are overpassing. Jared Bednar talked about this. After the Game 4 win, he made a point to talk about how well the guys were skating with the puck in the offensive zone. After the Game 5 loss, Bednar talked about how they needed to go back in the offensive zone to doing what they were doing in Game 4. Reading between the lines there, plus seeing what we've seen, the Dallas Stars want you to go cross-ice passes. They want you to do that. They want you to go back and forth. This is a team that leaves their sticks on the ice. They're looking to break that up, and the goal that Mikko Rantanen had was caused exactly by that, a cross-ice pass that the Stars intercepted and led directly to a goal. The Avs have to clean that up dramatically, and some of that has to do with being more precise on their passing, and some of it, I think, Brennan, has to do with understanding this isn't the time to pass at all.
Yeah, and that's something that actually me and The other podcast that I'm on talked about a lot. Adrian Hernandez brought this up that the Stars are they're expecting the pass to Cale Makar, and what team isn't whenever they play the Avalanche. So Devon Tays needs to take advantage of the fact that okay, they're going to be drawing in one or two players on Cale Makar. They're going to be going in for the double coverage, and then Tays needs to step up and get those shots himself and draw those players away from, or I'm not draw them away, but take advantage of the offensive opportunities himself.
Yeah, which of course, once the Stars realize that they'll do that, that will free up Makar because then they won't be able to bracket him as much. And that's one of the things that I've looked at more than anything for the Avs in this series. And we talked about it on one of the previous post games we've done, our pre games we've done. We did it live when we were at number 38 in Rhino as well. For me, I understand that not all shots are created equal. I understand the Avalanche look for great shots. I get that. But I'll give you the numbers that I gave people earlier today on My Life Sports Today. Went back and looked at the number of games that Jake Ottinger had to make 35 or more saves. And I went over this year in the regular season, and then went out over his playoff career. This year in the regular season, even when he had to make 35 saves, his record was 6-5. Okay. Now,
Okay.
there are a lot of goalies that if you had to make 35 saves or more, they don't have winning records. Ottinger still has winning record with that, and that tells you how good that he really is. And I think everyone understands that. The Avs certainly should. If they didn't at this point or last year when they got knocked out by the Stars, I mean, they've got to know that. So with that being said, I went back and looked at his entire playoff career against teams that ostensibly better, right?
Mm.
When he's had to make 35 or more saves over the course of his entire playoff career, 3-5. That to me doesn't seem like a surprise, but it shows that even Ottinger is mortal, and you can take his entire playoff year career. You can take this year, you can put them together. That's 9-10. If you want Jake Ottinger to at least not take over the game, the way to do it is pepper him with shots, and even better, then crash that net and get the rebound. Part of the reason the Avs made the trades they made, Brennan, to get Charlie Coyle, to get Brock Nelson, was to get bigger and stronger up the middle so you could start having more net front presence guys. Getting Landeskog back helps that too. But the Avalanche for most of the season had two, Valerian Nichushkin when he was on the ice and Arturi Lehkonen when he was on the ice. Now you have a bunch of guys. This team has to be more aggressive, stop being fancy, try to punch it in from 6 inches away.
Well, and then I think Landy's still trying to get used to that fact that he can go to the front of the net. He's still trying to make the adjustments. And I mean, nobody can blame him. It's going to be his third game back, fourth game back. So, plus the two in Loveland. And even in Loveland, he rarely saw the front of the net, which that's actually how he got one of his only goal up there was by being in front of the net. But, I think he's trying to adjust to that. I don't think we're really seeing much in Nichushkin doing that lately, but Arturi, on the other hand, he's been doing it almost, it seems like every shift.
Yeah.
But the Avalanche can't rely on the fact that it's only Arturi Lehkonen. Nichushkin needs to get in front of the net. He's always been that guy that's done it. He's always been the big body. For some reason, like we see on the screen, he's only got 1 point, and he's +1 in the series. For some reason, he's just not playing up to his capabilities this series. They're shutting him down and they're pushing him away from the net.
Does this have a little bit to do with the fact that, and it's a good problem to have, but when Landeskog came back, obviously there's a lot of line shuffling, and Nichushkin this year has had to shuffle lines maybe more than most players. He's been on the top line, he's been on the second line, he's been top power play, he's been on the second power play. And this is a guy that also plays big time penalty kill minutes as well. Is some of this the shuffling back and forth, because now Landeskog is on that second line as well. So now when you're talking about the trying to get some synergy between lines, it was great to get Landeskog back. There is not a downside to it. But has this shuffling kept some of the Avs from being able to be on the same page as their line mates?
I don't think so, because you look at who Landeskog's been. Well, Landeskog's been playing with Nelson and Nichushkin, and I think
as Druman got bounced down to the third, and Lehkonen now is back on the top.
And Nelson's still trying to find his way for the most part, it seems like. But Nichushkin's been used to bouncing up and down. So, and the Leafs just clinched the series.
Oh, look at that! Look at the Toronto fans are all worried about the inevitable choke.
Toronto's going to be on fire for the next 24 hours.
They might have to wait for the next round to to find a way to mess that up. Obviously, that's a big one for the Maple Leafs.
And they get Florida.
That I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
Series. That's going to be a good one.
Can't wait for that series. That will be a ton of fun. But yeah, anyways. So if you don't think the lines are a concern there of shuffling it, and look, I get it because we are talking about a lot of veterans, right? Guys know where they're supposed to be. So with Nichushkin, do you think it's more something the Stars are doing, or is it something Nichushkin needs to do to adjust?
I think they're shutting them down. The Stars they're double teaming when they need to. They're keeping their sticks on the ice. They're taking away the passing lanes, and they're getting on players when they're getting on them a lot quicker than most people think they really are, because it like I said earlier, hockey's a faster game than most people think, and you get split seconds to think, and that's about it.
And let's go back a little bit to look at Cale Makar, because Cale Makar's had at least for Cale Makar, he's had a bad series.
He has
2 assists, both on the power play. That's not really knocking the assists, down in value, but power play assists are easier to get than even strength. 2 power play assists, -3 in the series. I believe 9 specifically stated giveaways, which is right second on the team behind only Josh Manson, who's had 12. He hasn't played like Cale Makar. Is this more of a Makar situation where he just seems to be a little off kilter, or is there something in particular the Stars are doing? You pointed out that they are trying to make sure that Makar can't get shots off. Is there anything he can do to adjust, or is it as simple as, like you were saying, a guy like Devon Taves needs to understand, look, they're going to leave me open. I need to take it. And even if you're not getting those to go in the net, every single time that you're taking it, that defender has to move a little bit further away from Cale Makar to account for you.
Yeah, I think they need to work with the other defender, and they should have been working on that over the last 24, 48 hours in the last couple of practices to try and get that puck to the other point and draw into the other slot, but other side of the slot. But who knows if they are, because they're so used to having Cale draw down. But you got to change something in Game 6.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And do you worry at all about Mackenzie Blackwood? I mean, we talked about the fluky goals. He ended up getting pulled from the game, although I look at it as the same situation that kind of that Jake Ottinger did, that it looked like the game went sideways. And I think Jared Bednar, if not outright just punting, accepting the reality that, this isn't going to be a game that Blackwood's going to stop everything and lead us to the victory on this. We're trying to give him some rest, give him some breaks, but this is his first playoff appearance. This is his first playoffs ever. So do you worry about how Blackwood is going to play? And is there anything in the first period that you'd see where you'd say, I'm not worried about it, he's good, or, I am a little concerned?
Well, I noticed in about the second period of the last game that Dallas was taking advantage of the low shots, and they were shooting low, so he was having to kick them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to think of Henrik Lundqvist is the classic player that you can think of who always kicked out, mm-hmm. and it left a lot of rebounds and left your defense out to dry. Well, last game was a classic example of that. He wasn't able to eat those rebounds up because he was too busy kicking them out. So if he can work on trying to eat the puck up instead of kicking them out, I think it's going to do a huge difference. Wedgwood, I didn't think played that bad.
No.
So he didn't allow anything, actually, if I remember correctly.
You're right.
But under the circumstances, he played great. But I'm not worried about Blackwood. I don't think anybody should be. This is, like you said, this is his first playoff experience. So need it be, if they do get eliminated, knock on wood, it's good experience for him.
The Avs defense can help with that too, because you mentioned this earlier in the series that the Avs have to be way more conscientious about knowing that rebounds are going to come, period, no matter where they're shooting, because this is a team that does go right at the net. So when you're talking about the Avs defense, especially since they've had a lot of defensive zone giveaways, they have to be a lot more conscientious on clearing the puck and getting it out of the zone, but not looking for the big cross ice pass to get it out of the zone. Probably have to find a way to either make a short pass or skate it out of the zone yourself. That seems to be a change that the Avs probably have to make, because they haven't really done that all series, and it's left the Stars with a lot of opportunities. Blackwood, quite frankly, has been better than most goaltenders in keeping him out, but it feels like the Stars have had a ton of high danger chances, in part because the Avs defense wasn't being as careful at cleaning up the mess.
Well, I hadn't checked after the last game, but if I remember that they had 33 through 5 games, and I think 8 of them, no, 6 of them or 8 of them had scored.
Wow.
And but he had like a 900% or a save percentage through 5 games, so you can't really argue that it's a bad. He's doing really well on the high danger chances, but they're getting too many.
Yeah.
And now they adjusted, so now they were just shooting the puck from far away, and they were making the advantage of getting those rebounds as he's kicking them out. So the defense needs to look for those.
Yeah.
And it's an adjustment in the way you have to play. And as a defender myself, you've got to be looking more towards the slot. You've got to move yourself more towards the slot and face more towards the slot rather than looking more towards the play. And you got to be ready for that. But I mean, I don't play in the NHL, so
Yeah, but I mean, from what you've seen from the Avalanche, we know they can do it. What do you think when you're talking about mid-series adjustments? Do you think the Avalanche are going to make those, or do you think they're just going to kind of keep doing what they do and play their game?
well, you have to make some adjustments, because if you don't, you're going to eat the dust. So you're going to be golfing by Saturday. So Jared's got to make some type of an adjustment. Hopefully, it's with squiggling with a little bit of the lines, or making the adjustments with Mackenzie Blackwood that he's going to be. Hopefully, the defense can try and push those pucks a little bit more. But those are the adjustments I would be looking for. But that's me.
Well, in the end, it's all about whether you're going to do it or not. There's not a lot of room to talk anymore. We're getting ready for it for the Avs and Stars Game 6. Like I've said it before, the Avalanche. This is a tough one. I know the Avalanche play their game. They love skating. They love passing. They love highlight reel goals. They love tic tac toe. They like getting opponents demoralized by these beautiful goals, and I respect that. But the Dallas Stars understand they're in a Western Conference with the Avalanche, with the Oilers, with the Golden Knights. They understand that they've built their team to stop those high-flying teams, and they do it very well. So the Avalanche, I think, are stuck with a very difficult decision. You can play your game, which the Dallas Stars are custom built to stop, and you're probably going fishing soon. Or you can play a way you don't want to play, but you've proven you can play in Game 4, and you can win. So the Avs have to look themselves in the mirror and say, how bad do we want this? Are we willing to play our game and maybe end up packing it in? Or are we going to play hockey that we know that can beat the Dallas Stars, but it's not our particular favored style? And that's something the Avs are going to have to look themselves in the mirror and decide all night, every period, every shift. How bad do you want it? Because we know exactly how bad the Stars do, as we pointed out. They don't have their leading goal scorer or their top defenseman, and they're still leading this series. The Avs will have their back against the wall. We're going to hand things off, of course, because the Nuggets have their game as well. You see that Denver Stiffs logo. That's because Zach Mikosh and Ryan Blackburn will be right back here soon enough to break down the Avs game as well. But Brennan, thanks so much. I hope we're getting a chance to do this again on Saturday. Fingers crossed. We'll find out. The Avs, it's up to them. They're at home. Their backs are against the wall. No Heiskanen, no Robertson. You're at home. No excuses. Force Game 7. We'll see if the Avs are up to it. Thanks so much for watching Mile High Sports.